Hi, everybody. I'm Maria, and welcome to the Simply Maria podcast. I have a great show, hopefully, for you guys today. I have my special guest, Nikki Kasak, who, as many of you know, if you follow me on Instagram, does my makeup quite often. We're going to be talking about makeup, health, and something that kind of came up on Instagram over the weekend with some bullying that we saw. That we've actually come in contact with before and we'd like to address. So before we start, though, I would also like to say that Nikki and I both have these wonderful drinks that I made with this new thing. This is Sea Lip. It's non-alcoholic spirits. So even though it's the end of dry January, we have something to offer here. I made a nice little mojito. All right, so we're going to try those. I'm going to try mine now because I'm a little parched. Okay, and let's welcome Nikki. Come on, Nikki.
Hi, everyone. Hi, guys. I'm going to put my little fancy thing on. Let's hopefully do this right. Did it right. Okay.
It's warm in here,
Hi,
though.
guys. What's going on?
Are you still cold?
No, I am a little cold, but
Oh my
I'll
God.
be all right.
I'm warm.
I
I'm
know,
dying.
I'm freezing. Oh, here we are. Here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are.
All right, so
Hi.
hi.
Fancy seeing you here.
Thank you,
You look
for the
gorgeous.
nice glam.
You look beautiful.
You're far more beautiful than I am, but thank you. She's responsible for all my glam looks.
Yeah. Well, I'm honored to be working with you.
Well, nobody else touches this face if I can help it.
I wouldn't let it happen.
So, we actually posted a question box because a lot of people have a lot of questions about makeup
Okay.
from you.
Okay.
Especially considering that we've posted so often my looks and our friend Courtney's looks.
Yes.
Everybody's really obsessed with both.
I know, which is so funny because I feel like the last time I was on a podcast, like the last thing we talked about was makeup. So I'm excited to talk makeup today. This is exciting to me.
Well, just give us a little bit of your background.
So I've been officially a makeup artist for 20 years. This year, guys, I feel like, and then the next question usually is, well, how old are you? I don't understand that question or that statement. I've been doing makeup since I was 17. I'm self-taught. I actually have a college degree. So yeah, so I've been doing makeup 20
What's
years.
the college degree in? I didn't even know.
Art. And,
That makes sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Art. Actually, it's so funny too because my first year in college, I actually came down to, was in Monmouth University. So I was a Monmouth County, I guess,
right here.
resident. Yep. For a little while. And then I transferred back up to Montclair. So yeah. So pretty
Awesome.
much do makeup 20 years and I love it.
Awesome. Okay, so lots of questions for you. Do you want to start with those?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
start with those. I'll try.
So-
I'm going to try to answer to the best of my ability.
Well,
I'm going to take a sip of this thing. What is
Try
this
it. So it's Sea Lip distilled non-alcoholic spirits. I put
God.
less sugar in yours than I did mine.
No, it's so good. It's so yummy.
It's-
It's very refreshing.
Isn't it
I'm
nice?
gonna hope I'm like talking into this. Yeah.
So this one, just for anybody that's watching, this is the Garden 108. They have 3 different, what would you call them? Flavors, I guess.
Yeah, it's
This
very
one's the
herbal.
Garden, yeah.
I like it. It's very
It's nice.
refreshing.
All right, so first question. What brand is best for acne-prone skin? Makeup brand.
Okay. Guys, these questions always stump me when I get the what is best for, because I feel like every person is different. So any client that ever sits in my chair, even if they are acneic, I feel like depending on the actual like acne itself, I would probably do something different. But if I had to recommend one brand, Huda Beauty, actually their foundation is super matte. I'm not big into primers. A lot of people always ask me when they're oily if they should be using primers, and I think that's the exact thing you don't want to do.
Okay.
Because the silicone will actually kind of allow, when the oil hits the silicone, it'll like make the foundation just like slide off your face. So I always think less is more. Using a super matte foundation, I like Huda. MAC makes a good one, but a lot of people have an adverse reaction to MAC because of the mineral oil in their products.
Okay.
So Huda. I would say Huda.
Huda Beauty. There
Yeah.
you go. Actually, that was Alana's question.
Oh, really? Yeah.
That was Alana's question.
Well, we can talk after this, so. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see the next one. Favorite full cover foundation?
Favorite full coverage. So I'm a big Krylene or like Graftobian, Mayron, cream foundation, oldie but goodie. Like, I don't know. I was just talking about this over the weekend. Like, I don't like buying into all the like marketing campaigny. Like, I don't update my kit very often because I just feel like some of the old school products are just better. Like, things that we used to use, like, backstage, like when I first started doing Fashion Week, when we didn't have like a Sephora, literally. So I like Graftobian, Krylene, Mayron is one of my favorite full coverage foundations, the cream base. So I wouldn't do that for oily skin, but those products for sure.
Awesome. We actually have a live question right now. What's the best makeup for a man who wants to even out his skin tone?
A face and body product. So definitely either Makeup Forever or MAC Cosmetics. Dior actually has one. You just brought the Dior Backstage.
Backstage, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a face and body product. So it basically it's a sheer coverage, and it's buildable, and it's water weight. So it doesn't it doesn't change the texture of the skin, which is great because for a man, you don't want to really do that because you don't want them to look like they're wearing makeup. So I would say like, water-based product.
Would the Sheer Glow from NARS work or no?
Sheer Glow is too heavy.
Too heavy?
So, yeah,
Okay.
Sheer. It's so funny because I work with NARS and have worked for NARS for a very long time, and it's funny because Sheer Glow actually is not sheer, but yeah, so it's misleading.
It's the one I use the most often,
but
too.
I feel like it's the best. It mimics the finish. I feel like of Armani, which is
Okay.
why we love it so much. But yeah, I love Sheer Glow, but definitely a little heavy for a man.
So the Dior Backstage.
Dior Backstage or any sort of face and body product.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. How to make lips pop with liner?
So I am known for this, guys.
She really is.
Yeah.
We call it the porn star lip.
The porn star lip. So basically, I love to kind of pick a pink that's a little deeper than my client's natural lip shade and kind of start lining their lip with that. And I'll build up the lip definition with it. So I will outline their lip a little bit if I want to make them look fuller.
Okay.
Then I'll take a neutral brown that's a shade deeper than their natural skin tone. So like we used Strip Down on You today. So like something a little deeper than their skin tone and kind of define the lip with that and then use something really juicy like a lip gloss or something in between to really plump the lip. So a pink, a brown,
Which I don't
and a
need the
gloss.
plumping anymore.
But we still
do it.
We still do it. I love it. So yeah, that's my like full lip, I guess, type thing. It's kind of like Courtney calls it what does she call it when you do ombre? But I don't really call it ombre. I just call it like plumping the lip.
It is a little ombre.
Yeah.
I'll give her that
a
one.
little ombre, yeah.
She actually had a question too. She wanted to know how we met.
Okay, so we met through
Gianna.
Gianna, who does your beautiful
My hair, but that I'm playing with right now. Sorry about that.
Yeah, and Gianna and I work a lot of weddings together, so
She literally, so she was working a lot of weddings with Nikki, and she used to say to me, "You need to get your makeup done by Nikki. You need to get your makeup done by Nikki."
And she would always say to me, like, "You have to meet Maria. You have to meet Maria." And then we are.
So finally, she brought Nikki in.
And then-
Because I was going to my brother's wedding, actually. I think was it that the first time, or was it for a photo shoot?
It was for a photo shoot, yeah. And you
Okay.
had like the super short, cute hair.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and it's so funny.
But I used
'cause
to
the
do to
glam
the side.
that we used to do on you is so different than the glam we
Very
do on you
different.
now. But you know what? Everyone evolves, and we all evolve. And yeah, so beautiful then, more beautiful now.
Oh, thanks. This is a question I think you get a lot, and I've gotten it too. And I never really know the answer because I don't think I ever really pay attention to what color you're putting on my lips. But the nude matte lip that you use on Maria is a question.
So it changes like all the time, but we usually use Kim K, I think, by Charlotte a lot on you,
We've
and
done
then
Pillow Talk, I think, a
Pillow
few times.
Talk, and then I use that Gucci one. What was that
Today.
called? Yeah.
I forget the name of
Yeah.
it. I'm sorry.
Guys, if anything, we'll comment somewhere, I guess.
I'll
like,
post some answers to Instagram on stories.
Yeah, so
Alright.
we'll post the lip
Yeah.
details from today.
Okay. Best non-smudge liner.
Okay, so I actually like the NARS, now I'm going to forget the name, but the Twist Up It's like Via Veneto or like Via Appia, the brown one. It's like, oh gosh, guys, I don't know the name, but it's the twist up from NARS, third liner. And then I also like the Marc Jacobs, the tight line one that they have.
Okay.
I love that one for inside the waterline. I've also used like Urban Decay liners. They're good. I feel like though I still have like, I still haven't found one that I'm like, oh, I want to like create one myself, but
We should
yeah,
work on that.
I know. Maybe the Inglot, the gel liner. That's good too. If they're not like contact lens wearers, but
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I'm going to create an entire section on my stories with all of the questions and answers that
Perfect.
we have, so that they're written
There.
down so people can see.
I like that idea.
Favorite mascara?
You guys see my lashes right now? They're so clumpy. I'm a big fan of mascara, clearly, so I have a few, and I have to say the Better Than Sex Too Faced one is one of my faves.
Gotta love the name, too.
I know. Hypnos. It's like every time I say it, I'm like, that doesn't sound right, but it's a really good mascara. I also like Hypnos by Hypnos by Lancome.
Okay.
And the Chanel one, the Imitable, is one of my faves. And the other one, the Le Volume, the only thing is like I go through it so fast. So, and they cost a fortune. So, but yeah, those are my faves.
All right, a good all over tinted powder and good brush. But wait, before you do that, there is one that also would, I guess, kind of goes with that, which is a good all over tinted moisturizer that will not, for my face, that will not make my brown spots pop.
Okay.
So a lot of tinted questions.
Yeah. Okay, so the thing with tinted moisturizer, guys, is it's sheer. So it's never going to provide coverage. We know that, right? Because it's kind of like asking a lot of a product when you don't want it to like bring out something, but it's sheer. So I would obviously do the old school trick of using, this is how I see things. Like, tinted moisturizer is a silly thing to purchase because you could just take foundation and then mix a little bit of your moisturizer and just make a tinted moisturizer. Like, why buy two products? This is the frugal side of me coming out, but why buy two when you could just use one? Like, get a great foundation like Armani, Chanel, and then just take a little bit of cream and just dilute it or like mix it, and then
would that be good for the men too, to use the Dior Backstage with the moisturizer? Or
no, because it's a water-based product,
Okay.
so you would just use that on its own. But I would do, for women that are looking for tinted moisturizer, I would use your favorite foundation and just mix a little bit of like moisturizer. Even I've done this to you, like oils. Like, I'm big into dry oils, especially for
Drunk Elephant one
yes,
we've used.
the marula oil. I'm obsessed with, but I love that and doing that trick for my clients that are drier, especially this time of year, because it gives a glow to the skin, and that's kind of what I'm known for. Mm-hmm. So I love doing that, like a drop, just a touch, to just really keep the skin hydrated. And then if you are someone who wants to conceal brown spots, I would go in with a small little like brush and a heavy like concealer. I love the Clé de Peau concealer is one of my favorites, and you could just take a touch of it with a small brush and just kind of spot conceal. I know it's rigorous, but you're never going to get a coverage from a tinted moisturizer the way you would a foundation. So kind of like trying to marry two things with one. But yeah.
Awesome. The powder?
Oh, okay. So my favorite
And brush.
sheer powder, I'm such a like creature of habit, guys. Like, there's a Laura Mercier powder. It's kind of like the MAC Mineralized. It's got like a sheen to it. It's one of my favorite powders that I like, and I forget the name of it, but MAC Mineralized, and just a nice like brush to like, or Bare Mineral. No, actually, I'm not going to even say that. I digress. Forget I even said that. Bare Minerals. No, sorry.
Okay.
We'll pretend that
Strike that
didn't
from
come
the
out
record.
of my mouth. Yeah.
What is your go-to foundation routine for flawless skin?
My gosh.
This one's the difficult one.
We were talking about this
We
before
were.
we got on here, and this is such a loaded question. I feel like all the questions are loaded because we will be here until like next Tuesday if we continue on like answering these questions the way I would love to. But with that being said, the way my application works is I call it like a Napoleon cake. It's a lot of thin little layers that are like, I love melting things and products into the skin and just working with my client's skin. I call it body part by body part. So not treating every part of their face the same. So if they do need more coverage in one area, I will use like one foundation. And then if they need less coverage, I'll use a different foundation in another area. So the trick to flawless skin is to really create fluidity, I guess, if that is a word.
It
Or,
is.
yeah. Like, you know, you don't want it just cake on makeup. You want to really work with, like, you know, if you're dry on your knees, you're going to put a heavy moisturizer on your knees, but you're not going to put that on maybe your legs. Like, treating each part of your face differently. So,
Got it.
hopefully that kind
Awesome.
of answers something. Over. We have
Someone's
a
car alarm's going off outside.
Yeah.
What makeup and skincare brands worth splurging on?
I have to say, I definitely love Clé de Peau. I love Chantecaille. I love Chanel, Armani. I love Armani. I kind of go back and forth with Tom Ford. I feel like there's products that I love, but I do feel like there's certain things that you can, like the bronzer that everyone, I mean, I do love the bronzer, but I mean, some of the higher end products, yeah. And I'm big into investing in quality products that work versus like having a million. Like I have so many friends that will go and be like, let's go to Sephora today and like go shopping. And I don't even remember the last time I went to Sephora. Like I'm one of those, like, get quality products that work for your skin and don't buy into packaging. And yeah, but Clé de Peau, Chanel, the ones I just mentioned.
Well, you just gave me the Chanel one.
Oh, the Chanel bronzer.
The bronzer.
Yeah,
it's a cream bronzer,
the universal,
right?
Yeah, the universal bronzer. That's been around forever. But point in case, like that's a product that's been tried and true. It's been around forever. It works like all these other bronzers. Like, and the Chanel one is huge. It's like literally the size of our head.
Yeah.
So stick with what works. You know, don't
Yep.
overcomplicate it.
Okay. What's a good day non-shimmer eyelid color? Something that looks natural.
Vanilla by MAC Cosmetics. I think I said this before too when
Yeah.
we were reviewing this. Vanilla by MAC Cosmetics or Vapor has like a little hue of pink. It's got an iridescent to it. It's really pretty. But I want to say old school vanilla. MAC.
No, that was easy. That was an easy one for you.
That was an easy one.
Skincare routine. Loaded question.
For you.
For me, my skincare routine.
So your skincare routine. Oh gosh. Okay. So we've climbed mountains. We've
Yes.
come miles.
We
with
have,
Maria.
actually. So when we
Not-
started out, I had
Milias.
Yeah.
Dermatitis. So I don't have a skincare background, but because I worked in like a retail environment for a really long time, I had to get to know my clients, like, well, skincare, have some sort of foundation because like any good makeup artist will tell you, good makeup starts with good skincare and getting to know the skin. You have to know the skin because I feel like even when it comes to like eyes and face, like you can make the face look amazing and do a simple eye and like the makeup will look amazing, but vice versa, crap makeup. So it all starts with skin. Your skin was suffering from irritation. Either you were doing too much or too little.
I
it was
think
like
I was
small little
using-
clogged pores.
I was using makeup wipes all
Oh
over
my
my
gosh!
face.
Yes,
Don't do
Satan,
that.
Satan
No makeup
resides
wipes.
in those makeup wipes. Satan does. He lives in there. Like
He lives in there and he comes out.
Yeah, and then he comes out and makes everyone's skin look a mess. And I feel like for a quick fix, or I'd rather use a makeup wipe on a night where like you're out with your girlfriends and you're like come home late and you're like, I'm too lazy to wash my face.
I
Fine.
literally only use it.
911 SOS.
Here now.
Oh, I'm really. Don't tell me that.
What?
Was we're getting you micellar water. Do you have micellar water?
I do, but I feel like I'm using it forever to get everything off.
Oh, well, then we need to get you an eye makeup remover.
No, but the one I think what the makeup
This
wipe.
is really
that
how
I'm,
we.
This is
now I'm
how it
annoyed.
goes.
Now
No,
I'm
it's a
annoyed.
makeup wipe. I think it's made with
tell me
micellar
more.
water. I think
No.
it's one of those wipes that
Then
is
we'll get you
used
one
with
that has Bioderma has one that has a little bit of oil in it that'll remove it a little bit
Okay.
better or you can't because you have the lash extension.
No, so I use an oil-free makeup wipe
remover.
here
And we'll get you something
because
different.
I can't really go because I use the Albaline and I can't use
Yeah.
that on my eyes because of the
Okay.
lash extension.
I'll get you another. We'll add to the routine
Sorry,
because the routine
I took
was
over.
created years before Maria had lash extensions. So that was something I gave her like way before this whole,
Right.
her having beautiful lash extensions. But with that being said, yes, at the time, so you were probably using those face wipes, which clogged pores because you weren't properly cleaning. I always say that whenever clients come to me and they're like, oh, I'm suffering with either like acne, which is either coming from like, what's acne? What's the kind of acne you have when you have it for long term?
Cystic?
Well, like cystic or something. You could tell when it's more so not hormonal or whatever, where it's just a kind of surface. It always comes down to how if you're properly cleansing, especially if you're a makeup wearer, because you have to double cleanse. You have to properly make sure you're getting all that stuff off your face every night. I digress. So with your situation, you were dealing with dermatitis. So for Maria, we do Abilene, which is like an old school, like old trade.
Literally like $10.
Oh my God, from Walgreens,
Yeah.
like a stage makeup remover. And she just takes that and removes it. And then what do you do after
The hot washcloth. And
my favorite trick. My mother did this back in the 80s.
Take everything off with the hot washcloth. I keep wetting the washcloth until makeup's not coming off.
Yeah.
And I usually make it and I never ever wash my face in the shower.
No.
Never in the shower.
No.
So I'll take the hot washcloth, I'll wipe it off until it's clean. And then I use the Thayers.
The Thayers, yeah. So your method was a little different. I probably would want to add a double cleanse to you now, but back then, it goes to show you, like, her dermatitis and her clogged pore situation, the Malia's actually cleared up completely because of how she was properly cleaning her skin. So, and Maria is a little bit more typically, she's normal, but a little on the drier side. So we like to keep her super hydrated. So she doesn't have that second step, but the Thayers is a witch hazel, which is a non-alcohol witch hazel, which will clean all that, the residue of the Abilene, which is a super greasy product. It'll make sure it gets that all off. And then, yeah, like your skin, I always say to you, I'm like, what are you doing different? And she's like, you're like,
I
still doing what I've been doing
what you've
for the
been
past,
telling me to
like,
do for the last 4 years.
Yeah,
I haven't
literally.
changed.
Which is so funny because my skincare routine has changed multiple times, and yours is still the same.
I've added in the Laneige.
You love the Laneige,
moisturizers,
yeah,
which I like. And then I also use 1 month on, 1 month off of the hydroquinone.
Oh yeah,
to blend my dark spots away.
Yes, which I mean, guys, when we talk about
but that was actually given to me by a doctor who has a med spa. So it was
recommended to you.
Recommended by a doctor.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just go out and buy hydroquinone without talking to your doctor first.
No, and it's so funny because anytime I talk about skincare with clients, I'm always like, less is more. Like, don't do it all. Like, that's not a place where you want to like do everything, and you definitely want to work with. You know, I have so many good dermatologists and doctors and, you know, just that are amazing that I can even, if you guys inbox me or message me, I can forward you their information. But yeah, like working with getting good facials, drinking enough water, guys, eating right, like diet, you know, all of that kind of comes into play when you're going, you know, when you're working with your skin. So yeah.
Which is actually a great segue into our next
segment. Oh, into, yeah. Okay. Here we
Health
are.
and wellness.
Here we are. Health and wellness. Here we are.
So, we actually did have a question about how you stay so fit. So I'm going to let you just kind of go into this.
Okay. So, I mean, I either get love or hate for how I look, which I think is so funny because I'm like, I feel like sometimes my body gets more attention than my
your makeup.
I'm like, oh gosh, people just lay off it. But I've always been into health and fitness. I was a dancer for 12 years. You know, I joined my first gym when I was 14. I just loved lifting weights and working out and staying active and all of that jazz. I couldn't run actually when I was a kid because of I wanted to join the track team. This is a random fact about me, but my knees were so bad from years of ballet dancing. So guys, I'm a dancer, which is why my body also very long and lean. So yeah, but I stay fit by I now do at-home workouts. The Sculpt Society, Megan Roop, this is a shameless drop. Is that what they call it? I do her at-home workouts. So I stopped weight training and doing HIIT workouts like last year, which was probably one of the best things I did for my body type. I think that you should always find a workout regime that works for your body and what your goals are. And so I do Sculpt Society, and I also went plant-based. Well, 3 years ago, but I went completely vegan, but I do eat fish sometimes, moderately, but very rarely.
But no dairy.
No dairy. I haven't eaten dairy actually in a really long time. Like, oh my gosh, I gave up dairy technically 10 years ago. I mean, I probably had it like a handful of times since then, you know. But no, since last year, no dairy. So,
right.
Yeah.
Would you mind sharing with us why you made that decision?
So I had a health scare a few years ago. It's a very crazy long story, and we don't have until next Tuesday to discuss it. But I did have a health scare a few years ago, and I had a cancer scare. They found a small carcinoid tumor in my appendix. And with that being said, me being the health person that I am, I kind of took a spin on just wanting to really refine and do a little bit more research as to how I can prevent a reoccurrence. Also to like just taking care of myself better. You know, at the time I was doing, you know, I was eating this like bro diet, which there's nothing wrong with that, guys, if that's what you choose to do. But I was eating a lot of protein, a lot of meat and things. And I just started doing a lot of research on how, and you're vegan, right?
Well, I'm not currently vegan. I introduced some dairy back in,
Yeah.
which I'm thinking about taking back out again.
But you know the health
I
benefits.
know the health benefits of
Yes.
being vegan.
Yes.
You do feel a lot better. You
Yeah.
feel a lot more energized. I was doing it the wrong way for a while. I was
Yeah.
eating a lot of bread with avocado on it, which is kind
It's
of
great. Tastes
which
great.
is it's delicious, but it's literally carbs with fat on top of it.
Yeah.
So when you're eating that times a day, you put on 10 pounds.
But wait, I have to say, just a segue to this, because it's so funny, because when I say, I kind of don't, that's why I say I'm plant-based. I'm not technically, I am vegan, obviously, or I should say pescatarian.
Pescatarian.
Technically, but no dairy.
But no dairy.
But I do say I'm plant-based because majority of my diet, and I do get asked this a lot, and like I said, I either get hate for it because people think I'm too thin, or they think I'm like suffering with some sort of like eating disorder, which is horrible. Like you shouldn't just assume that. But I eat plant-based. So like majority of my meals come from plants, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know, a lot of veg, a lot of beans, a lot of legumes, a lot of fruit. Like I just eat a lot of plant-based. So
Which aren't very calorie dense.
no, but the thing is that a lot of the reason why like people will be like, oh, okay, so you're vegan, but I'm not. I just focus a lot on plant foods because their healing properties, you know, lower inflammation. You get more of your your macro and your micronutrients. So your micronutrients are coming from, you know, all the plants and all the like goodness in fruit and veg and all of the things. So anyways, yeah, that's how I stay fit, but that's, you know.
There are a lot of benefits to being vegan. I have a friend who's been vegan for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And he will drill it into your mind.
I know.
And then you
I
need to-
don't want to sound like that crazy person, but guys, literally, once you go vegan, you can't go
and
back.
he is also very thin.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you. And he does not eat a lot of
And
carbs.
it's not even like thin. I want to say it's like, it's weird because when I did go vegan last year, it was weird how like I didn't even notice, because I don't weigh myself. I didn't look at my body. Also, we were in the midst of a pandemic,
Yeah.
guys. So like I wasn't really seeing many people, or people weren't really seeing me. But I feel like a lot of the weight that people thought I lost was more inflammation. I'm gonna be so honest. Like I wasn't as retaining much water or any of that, because if people see what I ate every day, guys, and I've
She eats
shown
a
it
lot.
on my.
We're going to dinner after
Yeah,
this.
you'll
We're gonna
say. I mean, well, tonight
I'll
I
take
might
a
have
picture.
a fish, but I may get the fish tonight if we do eat out, and that halibut is probably going to be small. But on a normal day, like my meals are huge, and it's because of the fact that the caloric density of the food that I eat is so little that like in order for me to get adequate amount of calories, I have to eat in abundance. Like I'm eating a lot of food, but so yeah, so I mean, I just think there's so many benefits, so many health benefits, guys. Even I say this all the time, even if you're someone who doesn't want to cut out meat, which is a personal decision, just focus on plant foods. Focus on adding more, you know, fruits and veg to your diet. It'll do wonders for your health and body composition and all of that. Don't focus on a diet, focus on health. So
all those good nutrients. And
All those
actually,
good nutrients.
when I was vegan, I had a lot more energy.
Hair. Oh my God, guys. Like I literally, my hair grows so fast, my nails, my skin. Like I make a joke because the other day, my nephew was like touching me. He's like, "You're so soft." And I'm like, I literally feel, I don't even moisturize anymore. Like it's weird. It's like everything you're getting so much hydration from like all
Right.
the, you know, all the plants. So,
Lots of vitamins.
Lots of vitamins, all those micronutrients. Don't forget about those. Just they're as important as the macros. So
All right. So we wanted to touch base on
online bullying.
what?
Online bullying.
On the bottom, yes.
Online bullying.
On
Online-
social media and how it's created this kind of misconception about you, about me, about pretty much anybody that has put themselves out there the way we have.
Yep.
People seem to think that because we're on Instagram that opens all of you up to commenting
yeah.
negatively
Yeah.
on our bodies or
So-
how we look. So I have a fashion-based Instagram for the most part. I have added other things, obviously, into it. But people seem to want to comment on the shape of my eyebrows and tell me that I look like I've had a thread lift or
She's
I've
had
done
the
too
best
much
brows since
Botox.
I've started working with you. Like
or
the best ever.
anything like that. There has actually, so over the weekend, I had a situation where somebody must have received my story. Somebody must have sent it to this person. And this person, instead of replying to the person that sent it to them, replied to the story
By
itself.
accident.
And it went into my inbox. So I
That's
said
karma.
something. I said, it was something about, thread lift gone bad or something like that. And then something about I've had too much done to my face, which actually I have only really done my lips and some preventative Botox, which I've been doing since I'm 29. I went on a little bit of an Instagram live rant, which is actually on my IG stories. You can see it if you'd like to watch it. I think I handled it well.
You did.
When I responded back to them, I said,
did.
"Well, you should really, learn how to use Instagram," because they obviously didn't mean to respond to me. But the problem I think I had was that instead of when they saw that, instead of responding with, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have said that," or being humble about the fact that, they said something mean or that would be taken mean to the person who they were saying it about.
It's called accountability. No one in 2021 has
Accountability.
accountability. So, I mean, it's a cowardly thing to do.
So
no
they
pun
just
intended, but
honey,
full pun intended.
anybody that
Yeah.
anybody that looks at you can see that you've had too much work done. I haven't had anything done, and I was very upfront about the fact when I did my lips.
But did you bring up the J-Lo thing?
I did bring up the J-Lo
And I
thing.
think that was a good point, because here's the thing, guys. Ultimately, like, whether or not J-Lo, and this is like not towards you, but like, let's just put this in a perspective here. Like, whether or not J-Lo is, and you're not, I know you're not lying, because I've been friends with you now for a very long time, and I work with this face every single day.
changes.
And yeah, exactly. But there was that huge debacle about like, oh my gosh, she's lying, whatever. Who cares? Like, at the end of the day, like, really?
Who cares?
Like, I personally think that...
I don't honestly think that she's really lying. I went back. See, what I did is I went back when I heard about the story. I went back and I looked at videos of her in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I watched the way her brows moved and the way the expressions she made. Yeah. And she does not have an expressive brow at all.
No.
That's not the way her face moved. You can see where she's aged. She's aged near her eyes. She's aged in certain places.
I just feel like even discussing this is annoying to me, only because, and I'm going to just say this, because I feel like woman to woman, and this is just me being the girl's girl that I am, and I work for a living helping women feel beautiful. Like, I would never take enough time out of my day to sit there and berate someone who's made such an impact. You know what I mean? Like, she is such a, like she's J-Lo. I mean, at this point, could she do any wrong? No. I mean, so why even care? Like, why are we trying to bring her down? Do you know what I mean? Like, my thing is, it's usually people that are trying to bring another female down usually feels really insecure and bad about themselves. And you know what, guys? Like, at the end of the day, that's heartbreaking to me, because as a woman, I know what it feels like to not feel good, but to then deflect that and put that on another woman. Like, who cares if she does or doesn't, or has, or who? Like, I'd rather take that time and that energy that I'm thinking about that and doing something to better myself.
Right.
Am I saying
No,
that? That feels like the motivational aspect of this conversation.
Well,
is,
to tie back into what we were talking about before with health, she did make some comments about how, what you put in your body really impacts how you age as well. So, I mean, we're drinking non-alcoholic spirits. She doesn't drink, which I actually don't really drink. If I have, like I said, if I have one glass of wine and finish it a week, I'm really doing good. Right, Alana? Yeah. Ange? I don't drink. I for many different reasons, but it does help me feel, I don't really like the feeling of not being in control.
Yeah, well, you know what? Even to go to the alcohol topic, I think a lot of times it's a coping mechanism, for people, or like, I don't know. I just think it's not good. It's a habit that we slowly creep into, even around the holidays.
Yeah.
Everyone's drinking a little bit more, and I even posted something about my social media. I was like, I feel really like like I said, ever since I went plant-based, I never felt bloated. But then during the holidays, obviously, you're having a glass of wine and you're drinking. Me and my sister made like fancy drinks for Thanksgiving, and like you're drinking, and it does do something. Well, first of all, it affects your liver, and then obviously your body can't detoxify properly, so you will retain water from it. So overall, it's not healthy for you, but it does age you.
It does age you.
Yeah.
I don't smoke.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
Nicotine will restrict the blood flow in your capillaries.
Yeah. Well,
which
who
will
smokes
create,
anymore? I mean,
well, no, even the nicotine
Yeah.
itself. So nobody really smokes anymore, but everybody is,
yeah.
using those.
Oh, the pens.
The pens.
The
those
little,
still have the
it's not
nicotine
good
in
for
it.
you.
That will restrict your
capillaries.
capillaries. Thank you.
Capillaries.
And that will actually increase the fine lines.
The fine lines, yeah.
So
Yeah, guys, it always comes out. I mean, I don't want to like drill this, but it's, what we put in, how also to daily activity, like if we're getting enough, not exercise, but just movement, if you're someone who sits at a desk,
Lots of
getting
water.
up, lots of water, getting your heart rate up, getting that blood flowing. I mean, all those things, like people will say to me all the time, like they want the magic pill for their skin, or, I always say, even all my brides, like I always point them in a direction of a good derm, taking care of their body. I've even had some of the brides that I have booked for this year. I'm working with them, dietary wise. Like I'm not a nutritionist. I can't legally give advice on, health and wellness, but it is such a passion of mine, and helping them kind of direct them to go a little bit more plant-based, or giving them advice. I even do that with my clients. I think, like I said, to your point, what we put into our body is just as important. So like I like the emphasis of both, like not just am I going to do a beautiful job on your makeup the day up, but in order to get that bridal glow, you got to be doing all these fun little things,
Right.
Drinking enough water, eating right. That's how J-Lo looks as good as she does.
that is exactly how she looks
as good as she does.
And that's how, I mean, if you're wondering why I'm 38 and
I'm 37.
I don't have a lot of wrinkles, it's
Yeah.
not because I've done Botox all over my face. If I did Botox all over my face, it wouldn't move at all.
Well, I actually do Botox all over my face. I'm not going to lie, guys.
I don't. I mean,
Well,
I
not
do.
all over, but I do. I have my
forehead and
my
my
forehead.
and
I don't
over
get it
here.
done often though, but I do it like once a year. So my forehead, and then I have TMJ. So they recently started doing that for my jaw.
That can really help, though. I know somebody else
Which isn't
does
great, because my sister will always be like, here you are being plant-based and you're just injecting your body with neurotoxins. And I'm like, we all got to pick our poison. One. Just one. But people will ask me, and I don't deny it. So if there are any people out there that are like, they get work done, Botox. Well, Dysport. I get Dysport. So
One other thing I wanted to touch on while we were talking about the bullying and all of that. I actually had a situation that involved Nikki when I had THM.
yeah, so sad.
Well, I think it's good for people to hear these examples, because
Yeah.
I want them to understand why Instagram's not a good.
Platform.
It's a great platform for sharing information, sharing fashion secrets or beauty secrets or anything like that. But it's not really supposed to be there for you to judge other people.
Yeah.
And Nikki had bought something from the boutique. She had put it on. She had shared it with me on Instagram, and we reposted it. And she looked beautiful. And I had another client comment that I should take the photo down because she was too thin and she obviously had a problem, and that I should not be promoting that sort of body type, which I responded with, you're sort of reverse bullying
Body shaming, yeah.
her. And
I mean, guys, listen, I get it, because here's the thing, is that we live in a judgmental world.
We really
I mean,
do.
this is like, and it goes down to like, obviously people are going to have a perception of whatever they see. And, I take ownership for the fact that I am, somewhat in the limelight. I'm a little micro influencer. I have a small following, and, I do own, I don't want to ever be a trigger or, a wrong influence. Influence anyone. Anyone who knows me and follows me on social media sees that I love being affluent and shedding positivity, and even in lieu of our topics tonight, like positivity and, being a girl's girl and, help lifting women up. I don't ever want to ever be a negative influence on someone, but it's crazy because like I said, my body gets like, so much hate. And I'm like, it's crazy. Like, point in case we were talking about before, like, you don't know, like, the health, things that I've gone through, or like why I choose to eat the way I do, or not even that. Like, I have a genetic disorder called Marfan's. No one even, the last podcast I was on, I actually brought this up, and it was so funny because the person I was on with the podcast, like, she was like, you have Marfan's? Like, no one really knows what it is, but it's a genetic tissue disorder. And if you look it up, which if you do, we're all tall and lean. We're like these little long lean beans, like my body frame, even if I did gain weight, is always long and lean. So it's just going to be that way. And I think that we forget that because we live in a society where, like, we're trained, and I love that I'm going to bring this up right now. We're trained women, these young women are trained to think that they have to look like, no pun intended, the Kim Kardashians or these certain body types. We've forgotten that there's beauty and variety. Like, we all could be beautiful in our own way with our own body types. Would you agree on this?
Absolutely.
Like I just think body shaming has become a very real thing because we've adapted a mindset that we all have to look a certain way to be beautiful. And that's not the case. Like, everyone is beautiful in their own way. And we as women should, focus on that versus thinking that we have to look, this exact way in order to be beautiful or be accepted or all of that. So,
well, I think, and for what I do on Instagram, what Nikki does on Instagram, the beauty and the fashion industries open themselves up to a lot of criticism because of that. And I guess the end point is, you don't know what's going on with someone's life.
Like,
you don't know why they're so thin, or, if you really wanted it, if I didn't dye my hair, you'd know that I've been going gray since I was 22.
But that's a great point in case, because you know what the funny thing is? It's like, I love how people, like, I feel like we live in a world where you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
Right.
Like, if you take care of yourself, you get work done. If you don't take care of yourself, like, I've had comments on my social media, like, if I, like, post a picture and my client has a blemish and it's not edited, like, they're like, oh my gosh, like, you have because we're so used to seeing edited photos that, like, if somebody has a pimple, like, we forgot that pimples exist, you know what I mean? Like, so to that point, I just think that, like, raw and authenticity, like, we forgot in the purity of just being raw and real. And like, with social media, we all do it, guys. Like, no one, it is a highlight reel. No one's going to be posting the worst day or their worst, angle or their worst, I don't know. Like, we forget that there's a storyline behind the storyline. Yeah. Like, behind the facade, there's a big life that's behind that. So, like, don't judge. Be nice, girls. Don't be mean girls. Don't be we want you to sit with us. Like, I always say that to all my clients. Like, I want you to sit with me. I don't want to be that mean girl, that hater. I don't drink the haterade. This is not haterade. Okay, this is Maria's fancy drink. You know what I mean?
Non-alcoholic drink.
Non-alcoholic drink.
Better for your body.
Better for our body.
Yeah, you know what? There was actually another instance where people always ask me if I've had a nose job, which I find funny because when I have no makeup on, I don't really like my nose. And I had somebody once take...
I know you don't have a nose job.
No,
like, I know you, but
you
have a perfect nose. But she does. I barely even you don't even have to touch her nose. I love her nose.
If you look
That's
at
a weird
pictures,
statement. I love your nose.
Oh, thank you. I actually had somebody that followed me on Facebook that was a loose friend, the term friend very loosely, an acquaintance that went back down my Facebook years back and took a photo of me where my eyebrows were much thinner, okay, where I wasn't wearing any makeup, okay, that it was taken from a different angle, and put it next to a picture of me in full-blown makeup with the eyebrows that I grew back in from being pregnant with Sadie.
Yeah, like from 10 years ago.
Where I didn't really care what I looked like. That's when I grew my 90s brows back into my real, fluffy Italian brows. And they said, who did your nose? I was like, no one did my nose. It's contoured.
But do they know that noses change? Like, that's one part on our body. I think it's our nose and our ears. I think it's our nose and our ears. Because I have a deviated septum, and people always ask me. And I mean, that's like a whole other thing. But you know, your nose and your ears, I think, are the two things that either don't stop growing or change or whatever.
No, noses do keep growing, I believe. But you can't, with the introduction of the contouring type of makeup that we do now, your face is going to look a little different.
And also to angles.
And
do
filters.
We forget, and do we forget that there was a time where those images were taken with a Sony, those throwaway cameras? Do you know what I mean? Now we're dealing with phones that literally have built-in filters, and they're pixelated differently. And we've known our angles. We used to never know our angles. Like, think about that. We would take a picture and just like go get it done at Walgreens or whatever. Like, but you didn't know what you looked like. Now we know what we look like. So we're like, I know that I don't like pictures from one side of my face, so I'm going to take it with the other side. So clearly, we know our angles. That's why our nose and our features could look better different in certain pictures. Yeah. I mean, once again, it's a highlight reel.
Yeah. So
point in case.
Stop judging.
Don't be mean.
Don't be mean. It's not enriching your life. It's not making us feel good. No. It's not making feel the other people that you're probably.
And you know what, that guys, was kind of not to be mean, because I'm not a mean girl, but if you don't like the content, there is an unfollow button.
You don't have to follow. You don't have to. You don't have to watch.
Yeah. Or mute. I always say you can always mute the account. I mean, I don't know why you would. Why follow.
You would follow and then.
But
however,
I digress.
Right. The problem the main problem, and this is my last point, that I had with the person who had said something over the weekend was that I'm comfortable enough with myself that I didn't go the next day and get upset. I wasn't depressed over it. What I really fear is that if they've said it to me and they've had no remorse about it, they're saying it to other people, and not everybody has had 38 years of going back and forth with things happening in their life where they've gotten to the point where I've been able to soul search and get therapy and get to the point where I'm okay with me, I'm okay with the way I look. If I want to change something, I'll change something. But I don't really care about other people's input because this is me. Somebody else, especially a younger girl or a younger influencer on Instagram, might not have had all of that to go through yet, and it can really impact their day-to-day. It can really hurt how they feel about themselves, and you don't want to cause somebody a depression that could really hurt their well-being. And that's the main problem I had with the way that person went at it, especially because they showed no remorse.
Well, she didn't know she was messaging you.
But she showed no remorse at the end.
But she didn't, because cat got your tongue. I mean, she got caught, and she probably didn't know what to say, because any online bully, I feel like, is going to be cowardly, because that's what they do. They're passive aggressive and they're going to attack. But then when it comes to your face, they're not going to say anything. And I just think accountability.
They also had no picture up, nothing like that.
I mean, so it was an online bully account. I mean,
just be mindful when you're saying things about people online, when you're making comments under people's pictures.
Okay, but also too behind your back, because I also think the conversation that you're having with people even behind, like, the type of person that's going to sit there and once again do the J-Lo, like who cares? Like, be surrounded by women that are going to lift you up and not bring you down, or not like bring other women down. Like, if a conversation you're having with company is all about how this person is dressed a certain way, or that person gets Botox or whatever, like, no, that's not the room you want to be in. That's not the company you want to share. You should be around women that are wanting to bring you up or talk about how to help you feel better about yourself. Like, if you are someone dealing with self-esteem issues, which we all do, like, what can we do to make you feel better? Like, where can, get, not like therapy or like counseling. I mean, I'm big into counseling. I've been in counseling for 8 or 9 years. And if it wasn't for my mentor, I call her my mentor, I don't know where I would be. And that's just because we all need a safe place to talk about things that we're feeling, instead of diverting it into, that mean girl society of bringing another woman down. Like, no, you should, want to feel good about yourself, but do something proactive to do it.
All right. So, Nikki.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It was an honor. I mean, we didn't even touch these drinks, but
I did.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've been
you've
going
been
at
sipping.
it. Yeah.
You've been sipping the juice.
I've been sipping the juice.
Sipping the non-alcoholic juice.
I want to thank everybody that tuned in.
Yes.
This will be up on the YouTube channel, Simply Maria YouTube channel. Thank you to our dear friend Ming for
Thank you so much.
always
for all
helping
the
us
hard work.
broadcast
Yeah.
because there's not a shot I'd be able to do this myself.
No, this wouldn't happen
No,
without you.
he's shaking his head. Not a shot. No. Okay. Thanks. We love you, Ming. Thank you, Alana, for all that. Thank you, Angela, for taking some behind the scenes pictures. And thank you so much, Nikki, for coming
I adore
on.
you and love you. This was an
I love
honor.
you too. And remember, makeup answers to our makeup questions will be up on stories. I will tag Nikki and she will reshare them as well to her fans. And thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys, for
All
tuning
right.
in.
Thanks, guys.
That was good.
Oh, wait. Put that back on. She's going to take a picture. Here.